Welcome back. Today we are looking at Chapter 5, Authentication and Authorization. Authentication and authorization are essential components of backend development, ensuring that users can securely access resources and perform actions within an application. In this chapter, we explore the importance of authentication and authorization, various authentication methods, role-based access control, RBAC, and protocols like OAuth and OpenID Connect. 5.1 Importance of Authentication and Authorization. Authentication and authorization are fundamental aspects of backend development, playing a crucial role in securing applications, protecting sensitive data, and ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. In this section, we delve deeper into the significance of authentication and authorization, exploring their impact on the overall security and functionality of modern web applications. 1. Safeguarding user data. Authentication and authorization mechanisms are essential for safeguarding user data and preventing unauthorized access to sensitive information. By requiring users to authenticate themselves using valid credentials, applications verify the identity of individuals seeking access to restricted resources. This process ensures that only authorized users can interact with confidential data, mitigating the risk of data breaches and unauthorized disclosures. 2. Protecting against unauthorized access. Unauthorized access poses a significant threat to the integrity and confidentiality of application resources. Authentication mechanisms verify the identity of users before granting access, thereby preventing unauthorized individuals from infiltrating protected areas of the application. Strong authentication measures, such as multi-factor authentication, MFA, and biometric authentication, add an extra layer of security, making it more challenging for attackers to compromise user accounts. Number 3. Compliance with security standards. Compliance with security standards and regulations is essential for organizations operating in various industries, including healthcare, finance, and e-commerce. Authentication and authorization mechanisms help businesses achieve compliance with industry-specific requirements, such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, and the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. By implementing robust authentication and authorization controls, organizations demonstrate their commitment to protecting user privacy and upholding regulatory obligations. 4. Enhancing user experience. While security is paramount, authentication and authorization mechanisms also play a crucial role in enhancing the user experience. By implementing seamless authentication processes and intuitive authorization workflows, applications can provide users with convenient access to resources while maintaining security standards. Modern authentication methods, such as single sign-on, SSO, and social login, streamline the login process, reducing friction and improving user satisfaction. 5. Supporting personalization and customization. Authentication and authorization mechanisms enable applications to deliver personalized experiences tailored to individual user preferences and roles. By associating specific permissions with user accounts or roles, applications can customize the content, features, and functionality presented to users based on their unique requirements. Role-based access control, RBAC, allows administrators to define granular permissions, ensuring that users only have access to the resources necessary for their roles or responsibilities. 6. Facilitating auditing and accountability. Authentication and authorization mechanisms provide valuable insights into user activity within an application, facilitating auditing, monitoring, and accountability efforts. By logging authentication events and authorization decisions, applications can track user interactions, identify suspicious behavior, and maintain an audit trail for compliance purposes. Detailed logging and reporting capabilities enable administrators to investigate security incidents, analyze access patterns, and enforce security policies effectively. 5.2 Authentication methods, e.g., password-based, token-based. Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of users accessing an application or system. In backend development, various authentication methods are employed to authenticate users and ensure secure access to resources. This section explores different authentication methods, focusing on password-based and token-based authentication mechanisms. 1. Password-based authentication. Password-based authentication is one of the most common methods used to authenticate users in web applications. It involves users providing a combination of a username and password to access their accounts. Here's how password-based authentication works. User registration. During the registration process, users provide a username and password, which are securely stored in the application's database. Passwords are typically hashed using cryptographic algorithms before being stored to enhance security. Login process. When users attempt to log in, they enter their username and password into a login form. The backend compares the provided credentials with the stored values in the database. If the credentials match, the user is granted access to the application. Security considerations. While password-based authentication is widely used, it has several security considerations. Weak passwords, password reuse, and susceptibility to brute force attacks are common issues. To mitigate these risks, developers implement password policies and enforce secure password storage practices. 2. Token-based authentication. Token-based authentication has gained popularity in recent years due to its stateless nature and support for modern web development practices. It involves the use of tokens to authenticate users and authorize access to protected resources. Here's how token-based authentication works. Authentication flow. In token-based authentication, users typically authenticate using their credentials, as in password-based authentication. Upon successful authentication, the backend generates a unique token and returns it to the client. Token structure. Tokens are encoded strings containing information about the user and a digital signature to ensure their integrity. They are usually signed using cryptographic algorithms and can be encrypted for added security. Stateless nature. One of the key advantages of token-based authentication is its stateless nature. Unlike traditional session-based authentication, where server-side sessions are maintained, tokens encapsulate all necessary user information, allowing the server to authenticate requests without storing session state. Authorization. Tokens are sent with each subsequent request to the server, typically in the authorization header of HTTP requests. The server validates the token's signature and extracts user information from it to authorize access to protected resources. Token expiration and revocation. To enhance security, tokens can have expiration times, after which they are no longer valid. Additionally, token revocation mechanisms can be implemented to invalidate tokens in case of compromise or user logout. Security considerations. While token-based authentication offers numerous benefits, developers must address security considerations, such as token storage security, token expiration policies, and protection against token theft or tampering. Role-based access control, or RBAC, is a widely used authorization model that governs access to resources based on users' roles within an organization or system. It provides a flexible and scalable approach to access management, allowing administrators to define granular permissions and control users' actions based on their roles. Principles of RBAC include role hierarchy, with roles organized in a hierarchical manner; role assignment, where users are assigned roles based on their responsibilities; permission assignment, associating each role with a set of permissions; and least privilege, ensuring users are granted only the permissions necessary to perform their job functions. Implementation considerations for RBAC in backend development involve role definition, defining roles based on users' access requirements; role assignment, assigning roles to users; permission management, defining granular permissions for each role; and role-based policies, specifying which roles can access specific resources. Best practices for RBAC implementation include regular review of role assignments and permissions, segregation of duties to prevent conflicts of interest, role-based policies to enforce access control decisions, monitoring and logging to track user access, and training and awareness programs to educate users about RBAC principles. OAuth and OpenID Connect are authentication and authorization protocols used in backend development to enable secure access to web services and APIs. They provide a standardized framework for user authentication, authorization, and delegated access. OAuth overview. OAuth is an open standard authorization protocol that allows users to grant third-party applications limited access to their resources without sharing their credentials. It defines several roles, including the resource owner, client, authorization server, and resource server. OpenID Connect overview. OpenID Connect is an identity layer built on top of OAuth 2.0, providing authentication and user identity information. It introduces additional roles, including the identity provider and relying party, and defines several authentication flows. Implementation considerations for OAuth and OpenID Connect involve security considerations, ensuring protection against common vulnerabilities, scalability and performance, designing back-end systems to handle requests efficiently, and compliance requirements, ensuring adherence to relevant regulations. Best practices for OAuth and OpenID Connect include use of standard libraries and frameworks, implement secure token management, perform regular security audits, and provide user education and awareness to secure accounts and prevent unauthorized access. Bye for now, see you soon for the next lesson.